Well, it's an experience, a nightmare, shared by many natives across the country. They were children living in Indian residential schools run by governments and churches. Along with harsh physical discipline, many students endured sexual abuse. One Okanagan man says that even though the last school was closed in the early 1970s, the emotional scars remain in the native community. An advisory that some of the language in this report from Brent Stafford may not be suitable for all our viewers.
Their childhood memories are horrific.
It just torments you to hell.
Haunting memories of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Most suffered at the hands of the priests and nuns who ran the native residential school system. The residential schools were set up in the 1800s in an attempt to assimilate natives into white society. The idea was to remove native children from their communities and eradicate their culture and language.
The beating that we took for speaking our language, we used to get severely beaten. At times you couldn't close your hand, it'd be so swollen.
But the loss of language and culture through brutal acts of violence was only the beginning.
Priests that come into our rooms, and at times they would ask favors for, want to give you better stuff than the rest of the students for favors, for sexual favors, of groping, assaulting you, trying to shove their finger up your anus and groping your penis and falling you down there.
And these were the people that ran the school?
Yes.
White people?
Yes, they were the priests and the nuns.
McCallum is not the only native who suffered such horrors. Hundreds of BC natives are victims of the residential school system.
There is a tremendous amount of anger out there that is just below the surface.
At a First Nations summit meeting in Vancouver last week, Native leaders met with a 9-member RCMP task force set up to investigate and charge the operators of the residential schools.
You know, those were criminal acts back in the 50s, 60s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and they still are today, and those people need to be held accountable.
The RCMP already have 90 suspects, and in a few cases they have enough evidence to lay charges. But they admit it may be difficult to bring some of the accused to justice.
They're going to be in their more senior years. Some are going to be deceased. Some may be infirm or in that category where Crown Counsel chooses not to, in the public's interest, to go ahead. And then thirdly, the police will have to try to locate an individual we may only have a partial name of.
So as the RCMP investigate, natives like McCallum, who lived through the nightmare, try to strike a balance between the desire to see their abusers brought to justice and the ability to put their past behind them.
And let's clear the air so that the healing can begin.
And is it going to help, do you think?
Yes, it will. Yes.
In Kelowna, Brent Stafford, CHBC News.
The RCMP say they will not lay any charges until they have completed their entire investigation. They estimate it will take almost 2 years before they're finished looking into all the complaints.
And then they want you to respect them. Respect our religions. Religion is not to be respected. You uncover the truth. You say the truth, no matter what.